Narcissistic individuals can be very arrogant, they can be very smug, and they can be very clueless to their own behaviour because they simply lack self-awareness. They can be stood in front of a group of people exaggerating the story, lying. People are stood there thinking, unbelievable, knowing it's not true, but the narcissist doesn't see it. They are too caught up in their own world. There's several indicators that a narcissist lacks self-awareness, and one of the first of these is they simply shift the blame onto all others for their problems. Nothing is ever their fault, it's always somebody else's. Narcissistic individuals rarely take responsibility for their actions. Instead, they blame others for their mistakes or their failings, demonstrating an inability to reflect on their own behaviour. Instead, they just project, and they project so often. They genuinely believe that other people are the problem, which helps protect the narcissist's ego. They have the lack of empathy. Their inability to understand or care about how other people feel shows a disconnect from the impact of their actions. This lack of emotional awareness is a key sign to poor self-awareness. Their contradictory behaviour. Narcissists often act in ways that contradict their words. They know what to say to get their own way, however, they rarely know how to act. They only act in a manner that serves them. They can claim to value honesty, yet they lie frequently. Yet more often than not, they lack the self-awareness of their lies because they believe their lies are the truth, which is why they are so convincing in the lies they tell to those around them. They fail to recognise or acknowledge their own hypocrisy. Overreacting to criticism. Even constructive feedback can trigger intense defensive reactions or rage from a narcissistic individual. This hypersensitivity shows a lack of ability to objectively evaluate themselves and learn from feedback. Unlike a victim who is criticised regularly by a narcissist, who questions themselves, doubts themselves, picks themselves apart, and assumes that everything then is criticism, a narcissist doesn't see themselves as the issue. To them, you can give them some good, honest feedback. It's not their fault, it's not their problem, that'll be yours. They have that exaggerated self-image. Narcissists often overestimate their abilities or their importance, which reflects on inability to see themselves realistically. Their inflated ego prevents honest self-reflection. The inability to apologise sincerely. When confronted, narcissistic individuals can go all out to give half-hearted apologies, blame-shifting apologies. I'm sorry if you hadn't, I'm sorry but you didn't. The refusal to admit faults reveals a lack of self-awareness about their behaviour. They're just interested in protecting themselves. The projection of flaws onto others. Narcissists often accuse others of the very behaviours that they themselves display. This projection highlights their inability to recognise or accept their own flaws because they're just pinning them on everybody else.